back to Crawlspace Encounters. Got ourselves another one here. Hey, this one goes out to Virginia Moss 7045. You've been leaving me some comments. Thank you for tuning in. We just had this conversation. This is an absolutely gorgeous house. Beautiful. Even the Crawlspace is nice, but wait until you see the Beatles. My God. Anyway, just when you think things are about to start looking good in a Crawlspace, we find something. Anyway, this one goes to you, Virginia. Thank you for commenting all the time, keeping this channel alive. Sorry about the FedEx truck. Hey, thanks for working, bub. Yeah. Gotta thank the people that are working these days, man. Power's been down here and there. People still working, hustling. God bless America, man. This is what we do. We just keep on moving, man. Just like I do. I'll be moving in Crawlspaces today. It's gonna be busy. But anyway, you gotta check this one out. This one's pretty bad. I'll see you soon. All right, here we go. Got ourselves another one here. Well, obviously, you don't really need to cut the lock if you don't have the keys to the lock. You just unscrew the hinges and get up in the Crawlspace. You don't have to go through all that jazz. People say, I gotta cut the lock. No, I'll just unscrew it. Look at this Crawlspace. So this is a house for sale. It's encapsulated. I could dig it. But what do we have here? That looks like beetles. That's beetle damage. Huh. Oh yeah. Just trying to find out what kind of beetles they are. Well, welcome back to the channel. Always finding some stuff here. This house is for sale. And we gotta do an inspection. Give you guys a quick run of the Crawlspace. So this is an encapsulated home. Got some water coming into the foundation. It's not a leaky pipe. It's just coming down the foundation walls. So when you encapsulate the Crawlspace, just always make sure that is going to be not a problem. I'm not sure if there's a dehumidifier down here. It should be because all the vents are sealed off. I've never seen vents sealed like this. It's like 1/2-inch styrofoam, glued. You can see the glue kind of melted through that styrofoam, pretty thin styrofoam. But this is definitely a problem right here. This is beetle damage. Definitely don't want that. Hopefully this is the only spot. If any of you folks ever dealt with beetles, it's not fun because you have to kind of know what you're dealing with here. Let me see if I can get my handy dandy knife. You usually see some like streaming frass or something. Look at that. Thanks. Basically, this is the larva of a wood beetle. They do a lot of damage here. See all that? That's just frass. As they eat, make a nice fine little frass. See how smooth these galleries are. And that's just the larva of the beetle. See, somebody's been poking at this. Not too sure what's the story about that. Obviously that has to be talked about, but I'm finding some water on top of this plastic here. Here. Doesn't look like it's coming from the crawlspace door. Sometimes when the crawlspace door is pretty kind of flush with the outside, then yeah, water kind of work its way through the door, but this water in a crawlspace, when it's encapsulated, it's really not very helpful, especially if you have a dehumidifier running down here, which I can hear it. That dehumidifier senses the humidity from the from that water. Then it decides to stay running. Like today, it's pretty mild outside. I wouldn't think too many dehumidifiers would be running. So they used like a black duct tape. They sell tape specialized for this encapsulation poly. This isn't gonna work out too well. You know, after some time, this concrete stays kind of wet. After some time, that's all just gonna peel right off. But it's definitely better than the last crawlspace I was in. What a disaster. Absolute disaster. Filthy. I came out. It was horrible. Found a lot of goodies. That will be probably my first video before this one. If you're new to the channel, this is what I do. Get in crawl spaces, do an inspection, see if there's anything going on. So far in this one, obviously we see some water, we see some beetle damage. These are just things I have to fill out on a report. I take a dry run of the crawl spaces. Obviously I got to come back in. I just want to bring in my camera. Some more water comes in there. Just bring in my camera. Show you guys what crawl spaces are all about. Years ago, I was disgusted by the crawl spaces I was going in. I wasn't familiar with crawl spaces. Slab houses and basements from the north. I came down here in South Carolina. I noticed all these crawl space homes. I started getting in, diving around, and I couldn't believe my eyes. Not only was the construction horrible, but termites, fungus, mildew, no pressure treated lumber anywhere, water coming in through the bricks. Bad workmanship, really bad workmanship. Well, out of sight, out of mind. Most trades come down here and just do things and get away with a lot. Not all. Some. But this, I mean, I've seen some encapsulated homes. This is definitely not something I've seen before. You can usually tell which companies are which. I've never seen anybody use that black duct tape. This is the tape I would usually see. Right here. Same tape they use to wrap the piers. But most companies, when they run the plastic up the walls, they definitely, they kind of nail them. They get a ramp set, they nail it, and they glue it. In this case, you can see how they should have ran it up the walls here. Because as the water comes in, it's actually just going on top of this plastic, and it's just pooling. So in this case, it's just coming through the mortar, a little ramp. Whoop. So you've got to put that into consideration when these companies come out, sell these jobs. Because the last thing you want to do is have to rip this all back and install a French drain after the fact. Because then this pretty white plastic gets all ruined. Look how thick it is. 15, 20 mil. Get ourselves a Black Widow chilling out right there. Yeah, definitely. You can see all the mineral deposit coming off of this block. Let me get the spider web off the lens. I mean, I can spend all day down here. I mean, I can crawl in this thing. This is nice. There's ones that hold on, let me get this off the lens. There's ones I get in and I start doing a video. I'm like, man, I gotta get out of here. But I'm trying to show you guys good ones. Like, this is a good one. They did an excellent job. But you've got water getting in. That's gonna have to be addressed. You got to get a drainage system to take care of that moisture. I feel bad because you're going to have to do that. But you're not helping that dehumidifier out if it's got to be drying up these puddles. You can see the water. Water comes up right to this tape. Loosens up the tape. Starts working its way up. That'll start pooling up more and more. Wherever this is coming from, which is probably that direction right over there, it's going to continue to happen over and over again, because now there's some form of a little pathway, a creek, let's just say, that's going to follow that. So every time it rains, this is going to get worse and worse and worse. Now here you got your dehumidifier. It's a Santa Fe. They hung it from the floor joists. You guys let me know in the comments what you think about hanging them on the floor joists versus setting them on some blocks. I'll give you my opinion, because I've actually heard it from homeowners that now I don't feel it. They said they can feel the vibration on the floors upstairs. I mean, I don't feel, a little bit, not much, but it looks cool hanging up like that. And then obviously with the discharge line, let's take a look at the discharge line. Yeah, I mean, you got some gravity, so this is another reason why I do like it. So they got the discharge line coming out, going into a condensation pump. This pump has a line going up and out and away from your home. The setup looks pretty cool. Santa Fe is a California product. Like every dehumidifier I've seen, you've got good ones and bad ones. You got your Monday and Fridays. This one seems to be doing fine. Don't know. It's running. it's definitely running. So sometimes you get into these crawl spaces and these dehumidifiers have been down here for a while. It's so humid. Nobody checks up on them, and they're just not running. You've got some companies that install them and they take the money and split, and they don't offer any kind of warranty to come back, a maintenance plan, or maybe just the homeowner decided not to use the maintenance plan. Definitely, if you're going to invest this kind of money on a system like this in your crawl space, you definitely want to have somebody come out here. Keep an eye on those dehumidifiers because they are a pain in the butt. They do break down easy. They drip water. They condensate. They get blocked up. They back up into the machine. They start dripping water everywhere. Yeah, they're a mess. So you definitely have to keep an eye on it. If you're pretty handy dandy, go ahead and take care of it yourself. If not, get that maintenance plan. Get some nice mineral buildup here. This has definitely been replaced before. Yeah, I mean, just kind of a little once over. Like I said, I'm gonna probably post that video maybe tomorrow. But man, it's bad. So I see some shavings here. Where are these? Here we go. All right, so this is what we look for when it comes to beetles. This is what I call streaming frass, meaning this plastic really isn't that old. So the beetles, we try to determine whether it's active or not, whether there's a larva inside the wood causing some kind of damage. That's key. Some of the older homes have some old beetle damage from the mill. They've been dead. But this house really isn't all that old. But here is a hole right there. And that is from an old house borer. But this is going to be the kicker here. Let me get my little handy dandy tool. My God, in the meantime, look at all that foam. You know what? I can't. I opened up a can of that crap just to use it in a few spots, and then I kind of have to figure out what the heck I'm going to do with the rest of the can. And as I was using it, it was just, I'm not good with that stuff. You know, there's some things I'm pretty good at, I'll tell you. There's some things I'm okay with. But man, for some reason, I screw up great stuff all the time. I get it where it needs to go, but then it just goes everywhere else. But check this out, man. This is exactly, and you could tell. I don't know if you can tell by looking at this wood. Okay, it's a pretty good camera I've got here. But unless you know what you're looking at, we know the hole's right there. Okay, but unless you know what you're looking at, you can go right past this. And this right here is a problem. So we're just going to go ahead and remove this insulation. Just a little piece of insulation here. And get this. This is going to blow your mind. Look at that. That's all damage, man. You just bought this house. Inspector does a 1, 2, 3 on it. Doesn't know what he's looking for. Not all inspectors know about bugs. Termites, you know, the way they do things, you got to kind of think like these little suckers. Not a lot of inspectors know about these guys. If they see a little hole like this, not a lot of inspectors see that. So all of a sudden they go ahead and just kind of cruise on by, not thinking anything of it. So this crawl space is huge. I don't know, maybe 2,000 square feet. I just made a quick run around because it's a decent sized crawl space. But we had the old house boards over there on the front side, on the back side of the house, and this wall is the front side of the house. So the way you treat this, back in the day, some companies would go around and do what they call just a spot treatment. They'll just treat these areas. But because in crawl space houses, you don't know about all this. So what I do notice a lot of companies are doing now is they're removing all this insulation. Good luck storing this or putting it back up. You might as well get rid of it and just don't put it back. It's encapsulated. You don't need insulation. And they have to spray all of this wood. All of it. All the joists, the subflooring. If this gets up into the main living area, some companies won't even touch it. It would need to be fumigated if it gets too much into the main living area, meaning they'd have to put a tent. If anybody knows about tents, it's the same tents they put over for dry wood termites. But with beetles, you have to use 10 times the amount of gas to get rid of these suckers. So on a house like this is a 2-story home. It's measured by cubic footage. A 2-story home plus a crawl space, 10 times the amount of gas. Just because I've tented houses down in Florida before, a house like this, $40,000. And if you don't think that's right, you can go ahead and check me out on that, because I'm pretty sure I've got some people here in the biz that do this stuff. You don't see too many tents going up around here because they're mainly for drywood termites. But every once in a while you come across these beetles. I do have some videos on some active beetles. Bad situation, man. Doesn't look like they got up into the main living area. I know it did cost them a lot of money to get it done, but you definitely don't want to wait till it gets to your main living area. There's another puddle of water. Goodness. So this place takes on some water. You got old house bores. So what I'm going to be recommending, I don't know what this giant snake is in here underneath this plastic. Maybe it's a French drain going from the outside, coming back into the crawl space and working its way out. You got me. But it's definitely a 60, 70 foot anaconda. Not good. Definitely an interior French drain system, which is going to really suck because you got to pull the plastic up. Remove all this insulation. Spray all this wood down, because I would deem this as an active infestation. Now the one in the front, not too sure. Right here, I'm in the middle now. Another chew hole. I don't want to keep pecking at their wood, but at least it'll tell whoever that this is where they're at, in case they want a second opinion. But this is also why I take videos. Here's another spot right there, another spot right there, another spot right there. Oh yeah, look at that. That's a nice little pile of streaming frass. Definitely an active infestation. Not good. It's like a nice little mound there. Like Scarface was down here. That is an active infestation. Streaming frass. Alright, so let's check this out. I don't want to get too crazy here, but we're going to have to. Look at all the frass on the insulation. Look at this damage. Oh man, that sucks. You're purchasing this house, an inspector doesn't know what he's looking for, and then this is what you got. You're in it for a long time. And this house, I don't know, in this neighborhood, I'm gonna have to say, hold on, let me get the spider web off. Sorry. It's actually dust. Between $850 and $950 for this house. This is a beautiful neighborhood, and actually this house is gorgeous on the outside. It's unfortunate I can't show you guys due to privacy. This is as far as we can go with showing you the house. Is basically showing you the bottom. But this crawl space isn't about any kind of real estate purposes or anything like that. This is just to show you what happens in crawl spaces when you're upstairs living in your house, or you just decide to forget about your crawl space when you want to set it up on the market. A lot of people think about the interior of the house. It's in fantastic shape. I get that. And then they forget that there's things in the crawl space that need to be looked at. That's why I say don't fall in love with the house until the inspections come through. Homeowner might not want to get these things fixed. You're going to have to negotiate, whatever the case may be. It's none of my business. But I'm just going to have to refer this to a contractor. And I don't usually refer anybody to anybody I know. Just because I don't want any ties to any problems. And I don't do any contracting at all either. So if I find these problems, I just have to write down, refer to a contractor, an engineer, in some cases. But here we go. Just kind of made a whole circle. So the beetle damage, that's going to be a lot. And also a contractor's going to have to come take a look at that, see if that's structural damage. In my opinion, probably wouldn't hurt to sister that member there. And you're not going to know. You got to start pulling down insulation. Regardless, it all has to be treated first, and then get a contractor in here to take a look and see what's up with all these joists. But another case where the crawl space looks beautiful. Look at this. This is nice. But just when you think you're all free and clear, you got water, you got old house bores. You can look that up. Look at some of those damages. Some of that damage these guys do to some houses. Yeah, this was the one. Now remember, I picked all that. That's on me. But this was one that you could see somebody poke the heck out of this with the claw of a hammer or something. Somebody already messed with this. They probably could have came here and said, this isn't active. Don't worry about it, Mrs. Smith. It's not active. And then years later, down there on the other side where we were just at, there you go. It's active. Anyway, thanks for keeping me company. I appreciate it. Don't forget that like and subscribe. Keep me going. I appreciate this so much. And crawl space versus slab house. I've had 3 slab homes, and I've been happy. I don't know if I can deal with the maintenance of a crawl space home. That is my opinion. I did put a poll on my home page. What would you pick, a crawl space home or a slab home? Seems almost 50-50. I get it. I do get it. If I had a nice crawl space home, running wires, fixing plumbing, doing whatever I had to do down here, especially one this height, this tall, yeah, all day long, as long as it's maintained and there's no water intrusion. Definitely there's no beetles, but not all crawl spaces don't even look like this. This is nice. Anyway, I'll catch you on the next one. Adios.